Ready. What's going on, everybody? We are back again. Back again. What is this? Someone else tell it. What are we doing here? What is the name of this?
You already know what the name is.
Hot Take Budokai Faito.
Yeah. Another episode in the dojo. More hot takes for you. Hot takes. Anyway, it's me, Japan Man X3. This is a Monday. We don't work. We don't slave. We don't came here. And now we're gonna talk about some good old anime, some good old anime, some good old mangas. So yeah, before we hop into it, everybody just go through. Who is you? State your business here.
Yo. What's good, peoples? It's bluish. If you can't tell, bluish Manhattan. What's good with everybody, man?
See what the new lights do, man?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a gift.
Brightens your life and makes you sadder.
What's up, everybody? It's Brando Jeter. We up in the lookout. Me and Japan, man. We do some training. I don't know what these other dudes doing, but welcome. We get to talk about some Chinese cartoons. Yeah.
All right, you boys. This is your boy Son Kage. Enjoy the show. We here to make it good this time. Let's get it.
Trap
right.
card. I see you. You've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Even remember. Oh, okay, look at the okay. Last but not least, who we got?
All right, Doc.
Hey.
Here for the shenanigans. Let's go.
Clap it up for this man.
Soundboard.
The one, the myth, the legend.
Right. Who threw this whole thing together? And also his camera just went out. All right. All right. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all. We talk a lot of Discord, obviously, as most crews do, and particularly in out of nowhere this past week, folks just wanted to throw around some mad disrespect. So, for me personally, especially as the host of this show, sometimes I can't run away from these battles. Sometimes you just gotta hop right into it. Oh, my man Silk is here. Okay, hold on. Let's let Silk in. I'm gonna let. Let's put that down. Bullish. We're not talking about that yet. It's not time. But we're gonna get to it.
Right on time.
Come on, Silk. All right, Silk is here, everybody.
All right.
So now it's a party for sure. All right, so we have a list of topics, but it sounds like we need to get to some business first.
Yeah, man. Flip the order.
We got to get to some business first. Because Brando's trying to leave, but Brando had some of the strongest points to try and make in front of my face. So yeah, the whole topic was about Gohan. I love Dragon Ball Z. I feel like it's one of the pinnacles of shonen anime. Is highly unmatched. It's not for a debate. And yeah, I mean, we have a roster full of characters that's all about something. But apparently, people out here sleeping on Gohan still in 2021. I understand they misguided. So I'm gonna let them speak on it. But first, let's just ask the question for the hot take. Let's get started with the hot take. Is Gohan a good character? Now pick your side. Y'all already know I'm at on this. He's the best character in this show. For the majority of it.
Wait.
That's not the question though. Is he a good character? Hey, to me, he's one of my favorites. But yeah, is Gohan a good character? Y'all know where I stand.
Let me get the mic real quick. Dear audience, you watching this? You see Japan, man? Learn from this man. Believe in yourself.
Hey,
even though no one was stand with you, believe in
man.
yourself.
Sometimes you got to die on that hill. It's a good death. So is everyone against me? I just want to know, is everyone in this room against me that Gohan is a good character?
Yeah, I got no.
All right.
He's trash.
I understand that. I expected that.
I'm with you.
Gohan is trash.
I'm with you. Nah, he's not trash. I can't say that.
He's not trash. Okay.
They ruined him.
The Bando Gina household with like D. Gohan is trash.
I know where Sake stands too. He ain't even got to say nothing.
It's okay, bro, but come on, man.
I already know where he stands.
Let that hit out, man. Let that hit.
Gohan. Failure.
Okay. All right. That's the type of energy I need. All right. Who got the coin flip? Who got the coin flip?
So hold on, you got a party? Is it Remy with you?
Yeah, Remy gonna try to give him some
Remy's
support.
down for me.
He gonna try to give him some support.
Give me some support. That's crazy.
Go make sure he'll perish alone.
Yeah, you know.
I'm so confident. I'm gonna let we don't even gotta do a coin toss. I'll let y'all go first.
All right.
I forgot I was going straight to the battle, by the way. So I was like, yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool.
I forgot I need to come up with an argument.
If y'all wanna cover a lot of the serious topics, I got the disrespect for y'all, man. I got the disrespect. Oh yeah.
Let's let Brandon lead this off right here. I know he gonna lay down that great foundation right now.
Gohan is the greatest disappointment in anime. Now, let me start with that. We all know Gohan was that boy in Cell Saga. Also, Gohan was that boy in Frieza Saga. For a kid, he was putting hands on folks. But we all know what happened to him on the Boo Saga. And it was boo-boo. It's appropriate. It was boo-boo what happened to him in the Boo Saga. This man, he got the nerf. I mean, the nerf was strong, man. The nerf in the Cell Saga. Okay, I won't even get into strengths and feats. I won't even go there. Let's look at him as a character. Because my other boys probably going to hit on the power and the cool factor all went out the window. As a character, right? When we left him, he was there to possibly usurp Goku as the protag. Because, he was set up like, hey, he's going to be stronger than Goku. And he had a different viewpoint because Gohan is a hybrid. He's a Saiyan and a human. He has both viewpoints. All right. So Gohan, man, and to think that he been through so much, he just for somebody that young to want to settle down that quick, like it really the excitement coming off the Cell Saga into Boo Saga. Bro, they turned him into a nerd, bro. He was dabbing. He was doing like this.
Don't speak on that.
You got 15 seconds.
Mystic saying was trash. And I would end my argument with that. Mystic saying was trash. Doo-doo water. It was at home Ultra Instinct. That's what Mystic it was Manager Special. Ultra Instinct.
This is way before we knew. Anyway, all right, never mind. Yo, what is call this man time?
That's at 2 minutes.
I'm done.
Call this man time.
I'm done.
We'll go take the next one. You want the blue? Go ahead.
Is Jordan frozen or is he coming back? Is he just like hand in head? What is happening?
No.
Oh wait, is that just my connection? Oh,
Nah, you good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm all right.
Oh, you see him moving?
I see him.
I see him move.
Oh, he's not moving for me. All right, no worries. All right, yeah, keep going.
What happens when you support Gohan? Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna come in majorly with this disrespect. Listen, it's nothing personal, Gohan, but you got to get this work, dog. Because there's no way you came off of doing a one-handed Kamehameha to beat Cell, one of probably the greatest villains in Dragon Ball history. You come off of that, and you looking like this, my G. You looking like this, my guy. How you looking like that, man? Do you see the pose? Do y'all see the pose? Oh, if you can see this man sitting there like this doing the YMCA. Come on, man. Ain't no way you can do that. He was butchered as a character, and it's tough because he never really hit that same height. Like they tried with Mystic, but it was too late. We done already seen this man become a full lame, and he never reached them heights, man. He never reached them heights. He was getting shot by Frieza all in the chest and the legs and the arms. He's not ready anymore, man. Now he just got to be a teacher. You got to pick up them books, live a regular 9-to-5 type of life. He is not a Saiyan warrior anymore. He can never be. It's over.
He is a teacher. Dang, boy.
Yes.
That's all you got.
Who next?
Oh yeah. No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's it. All right. You want me to take it? You gonna take it, Jew?
Let
you finish. Let you finish it. Go ahead.
All right. You got my time.
Yeah, I got
There
you.
you go.
All right. Let me go ahead.
Here we go. Gohan reminds me, unfortunately, when Kobe Bryant died, and people was like, we grew up watching Kobe. And I said, with Gohan, we grew up watching Gohan. We saw him from a little baby to lose his dad, had to grow up with an alien dude, basically had to put him out in the woods. He flies to Navi, literally watching his dad become Super Saiyan before he gets to leave again, come back to Earth, go through the whole Cell saga, literally watching this man become a man, become a full-grown man. He skips Super Saiyan 1. He goes straight to 2. I'm like, oh my God. He get his arm shattered and still, I got it. I'm gonna put the team on my back. You mean to tell me, after all that, even when he defeated Cell, and then you know how they played it out, they gave it to Mr. Saint. So we all felt bad that they literally had to give it to that man when we knew who did it. You mean to tell me a time skip later, they done got this man doing the YMCA. They turned this man to a fake superhero. And then, oh my God, that's the most disrespectful thing that you have ever done. That's unforgivable. That is unforgivable. Will go on. I would never forgive him. You can turn him mystic, like Brandon said. That was a great value. Ultra Instinct. That was literally what the preview of what Ultra Instinct supposed to be. He was never the same. I bet you right now, if anybody choose to play Gohan, who they gonna play as if they choose the cat? They gonna choose Team Gohan. That's how you know he's training. And they have to put Team Gohan. They got forget regular Gohan. We know y'all want to play Team Gohan. That's what Gohan stopped growing. Gohan died after that.
If they did a live action right now, Michael Cera would play Gohan right now. No hate on Michael Cera.
Wow.
Team Gohan. Just the fact that you gotta nerf him, you gotta regress his body for him to get 5. Lets me know all I need to know. That's it, man. That's one of the most disrespectful things ever in anime. That's what they did to Gohan. Disrespectful.
What hurts the most about that comment is I definitely only play with Team Gohan. That is a fact. So I do understand that. I have to admit that. I do only play with Team. When it was Budokai 3, I only play with Team Gohan. Fighters. It's true. That's true. I give you that.
No,
Go ahead.
no. Team, and that's it.
Finish it. Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and finish this right here. Let me start off with this right here. All right, let me start off with this right here. Y'all see this right here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So in the words of Akira Toriyama himself, because he the one that did this, right? Listen to what this man has to say about Gohan himself after he tried to be fire again.
He is far stronger than I expected. Gohan had a lot more power when he fought Cell.
So, in the words of Akira Toriyama himself, but you see it in the picture, y'all saw it in the picture, he went Super Saiyan level 2. When the words from Akira Toriyama himself, through the voice of Vegeta, Gohan is no longer relevant. He is nothing. He had a lot, not just a little. He wasn't just more powerful. He had a lot more power when he fought Cell. So this man regressed so hard. We won't even call him Gohan no more. He's either Mr. Sandman or the Gold Fighter. That's what we gonna call him, because he is not worthy of his own name anymore. That's how bad he is. Then you come back to Super. Then you come on to Super. We'll let it slide on through this because he becomes this irrelevant after this. He slowed on the Super. He tried to help out with Frieza. He failed. Not before getting shot up by Frieza's army. Man, dudes with guns. Gohan was getting shot up. That's a failure. That is a failure on a many of levels. Mm-hmm. Gohan is a bad character. Terrible character. He's no good.
He brought receipts.
Okay. All right, do you have an argument, bro? Are you still with me on this? Have you been persuaded to switch sides? I understand.
I still have an argument. It's fine. It's fair enough.
Okay.
You go ahead.
You want
can
me
take
to
up
go
some of my
first?
time. It don't matter. You go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Let me go. Hold on.
This man had to put on the glasses to help him out.
Since we just hating, we hating glasses right now. I don't know who's gonna start my timer. I'm not. You can just let me know when I need to shut up. Okay. All right. So first of all, Gohan introduced to the show the child of Goku. Goku being one of the main stars. Great, we love him. Great, fantastic. His first introduction to the show is basically mad traumatic. His uncle comes, steals him. And then after that, the only time we see Gohan do epic, amazing things is typically when he's going through some hardcore trauma. Usually it's going to be, all right, hey, man, your friend died. All right, go crazy. All right, hey, man, your dad died. All right, go crazy. All right, hey, man, your uncle's beating up your dad. You might as well go crazy. This man has never enjoyed fighting. Ever. It's never been something that they proclaimed in the series as something that he's wanted to do. He's always been a pacifist. His mom always wanted him to just be a normal boy, go to school, not be a guardian of the planet or anything crazy like that. What's he do? When he grows up, he tries to become a superhero, something that this world never has had. They have people who either destroy the world or people who fight and still almost destroy the world. None of them have any good reputation as far as like, oh yeah, you're the savior of the earth. So man tried to do something a little different. It was cheesy. Great Sandman is definitely really cornball. He was in high school. I kind of get why they changed his character like that. Now, when stuff got mad serious again, who was the one that came back to at least delay until Akira Toriyama's biggest heartthrob, Goku, can come back in and save the day with Vegeta and Gogeta and all that type of stuff. Or Vegeta, I think that was. It was Gohan. Gohan went Mr. Saiyan. He did his thing. He came back. He actually went hand in hand with Super Buu when no one else could. When we first saw level 3 Gotenks trying to do his best, didn't work. Kids was about to get wiped. Piccolo about to be wiped automatically. Gohan comes in, saves the episodes for about 3 to 5 episodes. Then he's gone again. granted, I understand Boo's a cop out. He got the extra special thing. Yes, all right. So we want to go to Super. Okay, my man, again, after everything has been conquered, still wants to be a good dude. He does not want to be a fighter. That's okay. They stuck to his character at this point. Now, it is true. I think it is facts that at one point Gohan was supposed to take over for Goku. People love Goku too much, so they're never going to let him get his shine. That's just how it's going to be. I understand that. Him being powerful doesn't necessarily make him a good or bad character. He's stuck to the same type of lore that he's been having for the past few seasons. And now all the way in Super, he did train with his dad. If you weren't touched by the father-son Kamehameha that happened in the Tournament of Power, you're just a heartless creature. That's all there is to say. I don't think you understand what pivotal moment that was for his transformation, and does still mean that he has untapped potential that could always come back if they ever stop writing for Goku and Vegeta. Even now, where they are in Super in the manga, all they do is write for Goku and Vegeta. So to you all's point, the only good people in this show would be Goku or Vegeta, and that can't be true when you have a rich cast of characters in Dragon Ball, from Dragon Ball itself to Z to Super to the movies. You can't argue that Gohan didn't have some of the best scenes in the movies. Had arguably some of the worst scenes as well. I will admit that, especially I think it was like the Broly one. He got drugged a little bit, but hey, man, the man stuck it out a lot of times. All right, and the most pivotal thing that I think you all forget: the history of Trunks. There is a Gohan who remained cool as a teenager. There is a Gohan who trained. There is a Gohan who trained Trunks. And there is a Gohan who was amazing with one arm consistently for a whole set of movies and whooped off on some androids at the same time and sacrificed himself. So this man could have been different, a lot more different, but they didn't let him be different. Why? Because Goku had to live. All right. They didn't have to do him dirty like that with Frieza, but it is what it is. Now, if you keep trying to return to Frieza, show something from Super, like deeper in Super. Show turn him into power. I can't stand it. Everybody was getting done dirty by Frieza. He made Vegeta cry. Come on now, let's not play. Like, Vegeta was ready to give it all up, and he only gave it up for Boo beforehand. So anyway, I'm just saying. They gave Frieza the extra buff. But I get it. My man didn't train. He didn't put in no work. I get it. But he want to be a pacifier, so let him be a pacifier, bro. His dad carrying the whole show. He got a whole family. Let that man be a family man.
We had to give Japan man extra minutes. He's very passionate, and there's only two of them, so it's only fair. So, all right, Sheriff, aka R. Dot, the man manipulated. You got something to add?
Stop this mess.
All right,
oh my god, bro.
Oh my god.
So Japan Man kind of he had my point going to detour. So it's a real thing. There isn't. All right, man.
Now, y'all can't disrespect the set like that. Y'all wild. That's crazy.
This is very crazy.
I mean, it's from the Tournament of Power. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You get extra time for that.
All right, so I've read if you don't like Gohan, most people's favorite character out of Dragon Ball, the most interesting, most coolest is not Goku. Even the plebs who say he's just the strongest person in the world, blah blah, he's still not the coolest anime character, even in Dragon Ball. Even then, so it's like, all right, if Goku's not your favorite, the second person who's only saved the world, and the second one who's had the most spotlight, the most who's done anything is Gohan. That should also rank everyone else who's also in this show. The second strongest person who's and be considered, aka Vegeta, cried at least 90% of the time on film. So you have a kid who's six years old half the time, still biting cats, and is still a better character than Vegeta's crying self. And he's still crying 4 shows later, and he's even older, and he's still crying. You got Goku who keeps dying. At least Gohan ain't died. And he's met gods and still ain't died. He's half Saiyan and human, still hasn't died, and still beat monsters in every part of the show. Every arc, he's done something, his accomplishment. No other character can say that. I'll put that.
Who's the best father in this show? Who's the best father in this show?
Damn.
Who's the best male role model in this show?
I will give you the side note and say Gohan.
You can say two people. You can say
Gohan
two people.
is a godfather.
Exactly. You can say
Gohan's a godfather to Trunks, and his younger brother Goten, actually, because his dad wasn't even there. So either way, when you're talking future Gohan or realistic Gohan in any timeline, Gohan was that guy. I just know I had a thing with Gohan. Gohan kind of cemented Dragon Ball for me, made me a fan of it, just because the first time they pulled out the Masenko, the dude's on Namek, and that was a hard fight. I was like, oh, this is tough. He's still young, but this was tough. He actually body cast. That was cool to me.
Look,
This
man.
is uber disrespectful, dog.
They did him dirty, but that's the writer, bro. The writers did him dirty.
It is.
The writers did him dirty, bro. Like I can't fight the pen that they wrote the show.
Oh my gosh!
But Gohan won.
I mean,
He won in the nerdiest. He graduated from the top college, so he won in every regard. So it's like, whatever. He get it. It's fine. He won.
If you coming at it from just like hype level, no. Like after his last few moments with Cell, that's it. He don't have nothing crazy after that. But if you go looking at him as a character as a whole, there's no way you can say Gohan's a bad character, bro. Like
y'all ever seen Hancock?
Yes.
I remember how far he was, and then he met old girl. That's what happened with Silver.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Stop this.
Nah, they just had a little kink. That was their little role playing thing they like to do. It's not like he was whack.
Hey, look,
Explore the other side.
But here's the thing. Y'all bring up a point with the writers and Kira Toriyama. I feel like with Gohan, what makes it hurt so bad is that Gohan, up to that point, if we're talking about Dragon Ball, then to Dragon Ball Z, it's the Goku show.
Yeah.
The Goku show. It still is. But in the Cell Saga, I thought, oh man, the mantle is about to be passed.
It was supposed to transfer over.
It's about to be passed. And
It was.
No, it wasn't. It was.
I mean,
was
it happened. It happened at the end of Cell Saga, but when Buu came back, they found a way to bring Goku back.
But again, with the Buu Saga was another extensional thing. That was still another money thing. It's supposed to start with Namek. It's supposed to start with Cell. It's like, we here though.
But like that's the thing. I think that's the biggest issue of the whole entire show. To be honest, is the Goku show. I mean, it's like Japan Man said. You got all these awesome characters, man. I would love for Piccolo to have an arc, man. Like Piccolo actually has some cool stuff going on, but we ain't never gonna see that. Trunks is my favorite character of the whole cat.
Exactly.
Like to me, History of Trunks is my favorite DBZ movie. Awesome Gohan in that. But oh man, I just wish we could get a version of that Gohan in the main series. Cause man, like outside of powers, man, if you gonna do the happy husband life, just don't show him on the show. Just don't need show him.
And that's
But that's everybody.
They came back.
That's everybody.
They came back.
And that's my
That'd be the only one trying to fight.
That'd be my biggest gripe.
Did Piccolo more justice as a family man and coming back to fight than they do Gohan. That's what I'm saying. No, it's totally. You can go at any angle you want to go at. They have another character on there that they did better do justice. Okay, I get it at Gohan level, but how does Krillin come back and still more fire than Gohan?
He get more respect in these streets, man.
How?
Oh my God.
How can y'all say that, bro? Just cause
Look at this.
they let Goku and Krillin fight. Think about that. That's writing, fam. That's a
Goku
like, oh, he was almost.
No. This is writing. At the end of the Cell Saga, and even up through the Cell Saga, you saw Krillin. He had the feels for Dagon Android 14. They gave us that, and then as the character progression, we see as it moves forward, he becomes a father and a family man, and he about his family. That is character progression and felt fulfilling.
He's a cop.
Gohan, on the other hand, but he's sticking to his guns as a character and what Akira Toriyama wanted him to be, and that's what he is. Gohan, it keeps flipped back and forth. Oh, he gonna be the family man. He's a pacifist. He don't want to fight. Oh no, he has to fight because
that's been his whole life, though. Literally, he's never wanted to fight. He's
from a character perspective. Where is his character going? At first, we were saying, oh, he was gonna pass the mantle. Nope, that's not happening. Oh, now he's gonna be a family man. Nope, that's not gonna happen. Where is his character going? There is no. He's just there.
They came back. His father came and basically said, "Look, bro, we need you in this fight." For the longest, he was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." He just had his daughter. Like, if you remember that wasn't his whole vibe in the first place. He was convinced to do Tournament of Power.
Then
like,
as a
he
character,
didn't want to do that.
Then as a character, he should have stuck to his guns, but he didn't.
So you're saying
they wanted him to fight.
The universe is at stake. You're not going to take Gohan?
No.
He's trying.
Over who?
That's the crazy part. Like,
we don't need him.
That's crazy.
Y'all are bitter, bro. Y'all are bitter and jaded, bro.
Wait, I got a comparison. Imagine we watch Revenge of the Sith. We see that Padme is pregnant, and we see that Luke grows up to be a family man.
What said Luke? Oh, you talking about Anakin?
No, Luke grow up to be a family man.
Oh, okay.
Y'all but still be dodging Death Stars to this very day. But thankfully he wasn't. So Gohan, man, I think that's the thing. Gohan.
You can literally argue that Luke and Gohan are the same. And you want to know why? Because when Luke disappeared, when he space ghosted out of here, that's the same thing that Gohan did, man. Same thing that Gohan did.
Man.
What? How, bro?
Look,
that's the problem.
It really boils down to this, man. It's unfortunate. This is why I hate having to have this discussion about Gohan, because Gohan really just got screwed at the end of the day, man.
Yep.
Initially, the way it was supposed to go after the Cell Saga, Goku was supposed to be permanently dead. Gohan is up next. People complained, so they brought Goku back, and they messed up his whole character forever. It's unfortunate, but he's still a bad character. We got to go by what's there. I can't go by what is.
What they were selling. They didn't
we
what
can't.
They were selling as a character. Exactly. They changed it, and then now they can't even commit to what they're trying to do. And they just keep going back and forth. Oh no, this time he's gonna be a family man. Oh no, we need him to be a fighter now. Oh no, we're gonna make him a family man again. Oh no,
that's the highlight of the bitterness.
He's a clearly y'all being bitter. He's literally been a conflicted kid to a conflicted.
There is no confliction. There is no confliction. It's only by when the writers. It's convenient for the writers to make him fight. Other than that,
to do with
but that's not written into his character as a story. He's just flipping back. Because the writers need him.
The problem is exactly what BJ is saying. The way Gohan was set up and the way they keep writing him is totally off.
I agree. I can't fight that. That is what it is. But going off of it, like and
whatnot. But like you say, he's not. They don't write Gohan as set in his ways. He has no values. He's just we didn't fight. Let's write him in the fight. Everybody else has a development where you can see, okay, I can see why such and such is the way he is. No one knows why Gohan is the way he is. If you read or watch DBZ, no one knows. Everybody knows from a fan standpoint. It's because they just need somebody. They just need to draw somebody right there, and we got.
I don't get that. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
he's a smart dude. He's a smart human, and he's strong like his father. I don't get how that's complicated.
Exactly. So that's the point. Why is it so complicated?
Because he don't train like a maniac like his dad. His dad trains consistently and does not care about anything else.
Exactly. So he's not fighting. He's a genius, and he's doing inventions, and he's at a college. He's doing everything a smart person would do.
We don't even get to see
and when he's not doing that,
so why won't he just stay there?
You even say that
because he's still one of the strongest people on the planet, bro. Like,
no,
Exactly.
fam,
So
no,
when his
no,
toxic
no,
dad
no,
comes
no,
back,
You know,
like what are y'all
But
talking
even
about?
still, you say he does inventions, but we don't even get to see any of that. He does all these inventions. We don't even get
that's
to see
not
it.
his fault. That's the writing. Again,
Hey,
like
well,
they don't give him no
that.
shine.
his character.
They had
That's
no.
character.
So hold on. When
So
they
the
showed his
problem-
household with him and Videl, they did show the stuff he was doing. There was points where they even mentioned that. So even that was still shine.
None matters to the story when they were showing because
Exactly. None of that has to do with Goku needing help 3 episodes from now.
But I'm saying, I think that the main problem here is I gotta take it there, y'all. It's Toriyama, y'all, because if we do research on the Cell Saga, the reason why the Cell Saga was so amazing wasn't because of Toriyama. It was because his managers, because he was about to recycle some own thing over and over again, and then his managers were like, hey, we need throw them androids in there, throw this in there, and that's why it was like that. I mean, the main problem is this. I feel like we're talking about Gohan. If we gotta address Gohan, we gotta address the writer.
Just Dragon Ball. You have to talk about all of Dragon Ball Z.
Let's be honest. The show is not really good at all. I gotta take it there, y'all. Think about it. It's Goku getting stronger, fight somebody. He gets a new level. Next season comes, Goku gets stronger to fight somebody. It's
never been compelling from a storytelling level. It's just excitement. It's hype. It's all about what's next, who's going to get the strongest to fight. That is the epitome of shonen. So, I mean, in that regard, Gohan goes counter to all of that. Hence why he looks mad lame as soon as he starts doing the opposite of it. That in and of itself, I understand why he looks bad in those type of optics. But if you take into consideration just what he's given from the show itself, he's just a conflicted human being, half saying. Like,
there's no need for him. There's no need for him.
Yeah,
there's no need for Goten and Trunks, bro. Like, there's no need for
any of them.
When you say that, like, the only people that exist are Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo sometimes.
I don't watch the show no more.
I mean, the way Super is right now, like, it left good. I think it left off at a good point on Tournament of Power, but at the end of the day, like, this is an old story that's being hamstrung and going on. Like, it's on duct tape. Like, some of the parts are going to be fine. Some of them are not going to be cool at all. Like, I think the manga is in a good direction, but it is what it is. But I mean, as far as like the characters, they're all weak as far as like their foundations, except maybe 2 or 3 of them. Like,
we literally had a whole arc, a whole saga, 300 some episodes in, because a nigga caught a cold and he couldn't fight and was going to die from a cold. But we don't talk about this. Like, Goku just caught a little virus. And now everyone else has to fight. And we now have a whole another 100 episodes of an evil villain because the main character has a cold. Now everyone else has to step up.
This
like,
died
that's a very whack premise.
Dragon Balls were supposed to resurrect people and still gets the main shine of the show. Like,
what was the time Whatchamacallit got resurrected twice in a single fight and still somehow was the cool guy at the end of it?
I mean, but that's the thing though, man. Gohan was gonna replace the whole Goku doing the same thing again, because even after he beat Cell, he still had a lot to prove. You know what I'm saying? So there's room to watch him grow.
Prove as far as what? What was he supposed to prove?
And even from a character perspective,
as a kid, look, check this out. What I'm saying. As a kid, we see him beat Cell, which was dope. But that's all we, he had little feats here and there. But that's his first time saving the world, something his father has done, countless times. Yes. So if Goku died at that point, I feel like it would have been, even more exciting to see, okay, can Gohan pull this off by himself, with the next dude? But if Goku's there, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same.
They're always going to cap. They're never going to make Gohan cooler than Goku, but he deserves to be cooler than Goku, bro. Like,
I mean, and that's a shame because the cast is so great. I kind of feel like Vegeta and Goku, I'll be real, they need to die. They need to go somewhere, and we need to focus on all these other characters, because all the other characters got room for development. Because they ain't been touched, my guy. They ain't been touched. Like, and it's like, ooh, what my boy Ooh was set up. He was fired. Where Ooh? He's not there.
They show him in the manga. They showed him in the manga. They finally reintroduced him.
It's a Goku show.
It's still a Goku show, yeah, for sure.
About his business. That's what I'm saying. Right. That's why I'm saying from the point of right Gohan off. I don't need him in them. If you're gonna keep using him in that way, when we watched him when we watched him grow to save, like you said, to save the world, write him off. That's
I feel like they've done that with everyone. Like everyone has had a moment to shine in this show. Like Krillin with the Destructo Disc when he first was fighting Nappa, and Vegeta was like, Nappa, don't touch it. Like, don't underestimate Krillin. He's cool for a little bit. Yamcha probably is the best example of this because he had amazing arcs in Dragon Ball. Next thing you know, he's a comedic joke for the rest of the show. He never comes back. And that's most of the people for Dragon Ball. And for Z, literally, like, it's Goku and Vegeta who get main spotlight. Piccolo had his whole little arc where he fused with Nail, where he fused with Kami. Now he's kind of on the outskirts. Like, he don't really do much of anything. Gohan, again, has some shine. After that, what you do? Fall back to the wayside. I mean, who else? Like Trunks. We had Teen Trunks. Then he goes away. He did come back and get his own season in Super, which was actually pretty dope. But at the end of the day, Kid Trunks, who's still here, nothing. Goten, nothing. Like, y'all become Gotenks, y'all fight Boo. It's comedic relief. It's great. But, like, there is no more development at that point in time. Oh, because why? We got to focus on Goku and Vegeta. So, all that to say, I still love Gohan. I know y'all hate where he is. I can appreciate both sides, but that is my man. Like I said, I am going to fight for him all the time.
You love him.
Nah, man. I can't be mad at him for how they wrote him, bro. To me, he is still Teen Gohan in my head. He still got that in there somewhere. He can still come back.
All right, real quick though. First off, I really need some of y'all to stop disrespecting my boy Vegeta like that, man.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Vegeta. Let's talk about him.
Listen, man. Listen.
Let's talk about Vegeta.
Vegeta is my favorite character for a reason, which stopped after the Majin Vegeta saga. That reason stops after that because I feel like that's where his arc hits its peak. When he's having that discussion with Goku and he's like, I realized I could never be stronger than you, so I needed to do something drastic and crazy to even attempt to be stronger than you, and still failed. And then he had to die and like sacrifice his life. To me, that's the apex of his character arc. From there, it was like ending of Buu Saga, and then it's all downhill in Super. But Vegeta, to me, has some of the best character progression. When you see him first come on the scene in Z, from being this Saiyan Prince, super entitled, I am the best, to then realizing, I have to just be second best. I can continue to try, but I'm gonna always be second best. To me, is the craziest arc progression. They killed everything in Super, of course, but that's why I'm saying this all to say that this is all, even though true, Goku and Vegeta are very much the top two, and that's how they write it, it's still very much only Goku. Because not even Vegeta really gets any type of character progression or any smart writing.
They're giving him a lot of props now, to your point. Like in the past two manga arcs, they've given Vegeta a lot.
Hey, man, what you doing, dude?
So I'll give you this, Bluish. Vegeta has had some of the best development in terms of growth of the character who's transitioned from one side to another, and they've kind of shown all that conflict. I do think at the end of the day, like, it's saying it's just a writing. If they want to write Vegeta good, they will write him good for that particular moment. If they're gonna keep going with and honestly, right now, it's almost like he's a baby Goku. Like they gonna keep making him find ways to power up and be different and be stronger. He's not gonna complain as much with Goku because he's resolved himself to know, okay, I'm going to be weaker than you physically, but now all of a sudden I have access to power that you don't have now. So that's where they are right now in the story. Yeah. But I mean, like, if Beerus would have slapped Videl, y'all don't think Gohan would have went off, fam?
No.
Dang.
The same. It wouldn't have been the same. It wouldn't have been the same.
I mean, think about the dialogue when in the Cell Saga when he was like 16. I watched you die. You know, I can't let it happen. I won't. Like, and he everybody, the best image in Dragon Ball history, we've seen it. When Gohan is walking like this, and it's like, I had seizures as a kid. I almost went through grandma because that jump was flashing.
Yeah.
He was in the middle of it like this, bro. Epic. Yeah. And if Beerus would have slapped with that, I kind of feel like he would be like, Videl, no. And then Goku, Dad would have had to step in
That's crazy. He wasn't even there. All right.
Don't matter.
Instant transmission.
Goku will save the day once
We could have used
again.
this as a transition, by the way, y'all.
Yeah, for
Use
sure.
this as a transition to a
I'm
topic.
gonna say this
Yeah,
as
go
a
ahead.
transition because I gotta get out of here. To me, Dragon Ball Z still ended at the end of Buu Saga because Super I treat it like Boruto. It don't exist, and that's my time. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.
Get out.
Y'all have a good one.
Get out, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, so now that we've had that heated argument, now we can actually get to our topics, which are definitely in line with this. So we could just go backwards up the list. I mean, honestly, all this talk about Gohan and him being a conflicted character, not being up to his potential and everything like that, not wanting to be the cool person, even though that's what all of us want from him. You have some people in these shonen animes who are literally just pacifists. Like they want to be normals, they don't want to fight, they don't like the conflict. And in a shonen, which is all about, again, getting stronger, being cool, and making it look cool at the same time, like you want to see that. So it does kind of go counter to the whole thing. So when we think about protagonists like Gohan, when you think about Gaara, how he transitioned from regular Naruto to the Shippuden Gaara, who doesn't really do much of anything, or when you think about Naruto and Boruto, how he's a whole grown man now, he's a dad, he's not looking for the smoke as much anymore as like how he used to be. Or even like another example, I think, which is kind of interesting, is like Rurouni Kenshin, where we hear about him being like the Batosai, the manslayer, and having this whole wave of like just being a crazy murderer, basically. And now all of a sudden he wants to be this nice dude. He don't want to kill nobody anymore. Has any of these type of characters been written well? Or are there any really good examples that you can stick with that you think are noticeably done very well? Or are they all falling in like the same problem like a Gohan, where there's, you know, the writing's not there, they're not going to be a good character in the show?
I think
I think it depends on the story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, Kenshin, I loved it because I realized when they did write it and he actually went there, they showed you why he don't need to ever become a Batosai again. That was like, oh no, I don't want to see that. No. Go back, be peaceful. Turn your sword back the other way. Yeah. Please do that. Please don't. So I think that, and that's, you know, don't want to harp on the Gohan thing, but I think that it's this whole story of DBZ, and I have no qualms with Gohan being like that, but I don't keep using him just as for comic relief or just as a joke like that. So yeah. I think it depends on the story. I mean, as far as Naruto and Gaara, I understood a little bit. The only one I would say out of the list, honestly, most to me is Gaara. I did not feel he was too far in regular Naruto to be pacifist. He should have did way more in Shippuden. But yeah, so I think it mainly depends on the story. If you have a story that they write it around that, it's fine. But if you have something action packed and you start somebody as that, I don't mind you changing it, but you can't ramp up his environment, and it just real awkward if his environment is so escalated. But this person is just too passive. It doesn't make sense. It looks awkward.
Yeah.
Before so I guess for example, like Gaara, I feel like the switch up, especially with Shippuden. Of course, they were trying to get to the Great Final War, and they had to do the whole Tail Beast thing. They had to keep developing more with the Tail Beast, right? And so, was the Gaara snub a result of that? We know he's one tail, and we already know about 9 tails. Was that supposed to be kind of snubbed there, and their excuse for that, or how y'all feel about that?
Well,
that kind of ties into like my other
from what I remember, like, you know, he was cool up until Naruto and Shikaku fought after Chunin exams, and after that he's kind of just like gone, and that's pretty much how the OG Naruto seasons were.
He had the Tail Beast, and that's why I didn't like, because he was like the least used tail, like everybody else who had one. It was like they were doing something.
It's like they jumped him in beginning of Shippuden and immediately like took his beast and that was it. Like he was like he wasn't necessary. And it's like he used to be fire. Like how y'all gonna automatically just new people come in, you're gonna write them so they gonna just beat him? Like that's crazy. It's
like Guard to me definitely got the Rock Lee treatment. Even though Rock Lee still had like some shining moments a little bit here and there, but it's like after he had his moment, he was gone for a long time, and then he just pop up randomly. So like Rock Lee, he got his arms and leg broken, and then he pops up with Kimimaro, has a little fire scene, and then gets saved by Gaara, who pops up again after the Shikaku fight, which is like both of y'all have popped up, and now y'all disappear once again. So it's like I hate it. I hate that it had to happen to Gaara, and especially so quickly. Because it's like Shippuden starts out and they start out pretty much jumping this man and getting him up out of here. It's like once he lost his tail beast, especially, it's kind of like they gave him no excuse to be around. Like you're just the Kage. Yeah, that's all you are now. But I will say, to go to your point though, especially when it comes to writing, another good example I just thought about is Vash. Because Vash does not want to kill people at all, especially. And as you get into his backstory and learn why, it makes sense why he doesn't want to. Yeah. But he keeps getting pushed into these situations where he has to take action until ultimately he gets pushed to the point where he does have to kill somebody. And you see how that affects him as a character. So I think pacifist characters can work, but it just needs to be done very well. You need to give them a believable example, a believable reason as to why they want to take no action in these situations.
It almost feels like they need to be the main character of the show.
Yeah.
Like the story needs to be written around them.
Yeah. The story definitely needs to be written around them. I agree both with everyone, especially with Rune and Kunchin and Vash as well. Like when the story is written around them, the story can work well with why they're passive. And us as viewers, we see that, we accept it, it's okay. But then there are other times when there's writers where they write it where they're passive just because they want to keep them weak until the next big thing comes along. And it doesn't really make any sense to us because we know, they're fire, we want to see them fire. Well, they can't be fire because reasons. And it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't fit well within the story. And I think it's kind of one of those things when, again, like what you were saying, like they kind of need to be the main character, because if they're the side character and they get too strong, then it outshines or kind of blurs into the main character. And then you're like, well, is this his show or is this the main character show? Because I don't really care too much about him if this guy over here is being fired and I want to see more of him. And I think they kind of do that because they don't want the main character to get outshined. And of course, as we talked about with Dragon Ball, like Goku can't get outshined. Even Vegeta, along with Gohan, can't outshine Goku. They have their moments, but they will never outshine Goku. So they have to be weak or passive if for some reason, whatever the case may be. And so, I think they honestly agree. They have to be the main character. A passive character is going to work.
Or they're the ones who deserve this spin-off, and they're never the ones who gets.
Yeah. It's interesting because like I was even thinking in my head, like what animes have I seen where like you have pivotal main characters and then you shift someone out of that role, like whether they die on the show and you put someone else in their spot or something, or you just bring in a brand new person. I was thinking like maybe like a Death Note or something where like L finally gets killed by Light, and then next thing you know, you bring in a new person who's just as smart, and now it's still the two of them. But like I don't know, man. I like talking about Naruto for sure. It's like you got Naruto and Sasuke, main people of the show, not the coolest people in the show to me, but like I think Naruto has better written B characters, if you will, like. Whereas like Dragon Ball started off like the Z Warriors were supposed to all be A tier to an extent, and I think like again, like we mentioned, everyone that had moments in the show, like when Tien had his come up, it's like one of the best things, right? Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, Tien, where have you been this whole time?" And he did his thing.
He held on self.
He held it down. Yeah,
he held it down. But then after that, like I mean, he went back to being an old Dragon Ball character. Like he's not fighting in anything that's going to be remotely like saving the world, at least like from a necessary standpoint. They can make everyone smart on the sidelines, which I think is what their cop out is. They're like, oh yeah, you can analyze the battle and you can follow it and you can just, be on Goku's jock about like how strong he is now, but like you're not going to be in the fight. You're not going to be in the mix. And I think Naruto still had a nice solid foundation of a lot of support characters, maybe too many, who are really good still. Like you had, of course, I always go to Itachi, who I feel like is one of the most pivotal characters in that show for a lot of reasons. And even their villains are written in a way that help you still appreciate more of the characters in the show besides just Naruto and Sasuke. But yeah, when you have series like a Trigun, when you have series like a Rurouni Kenshin, where like, they've been through the trauma already and they can tell you about their past to let you know why they're so cool. It's a different vibe, I guess. And yeah, like to Silk's point earlier, it is very awkward when like you have someone who's been very cool, has this crazy legacy of doing all these epic moments, and now you just disrespect them every time you show them instead of like playing up to their strong suits. Like they no longer, you want them to remain as irrelevant as possible, but you still show them. And it's like, nah, man, as a kid, like I cherished how this person was, and now you've taken that away from me. So
yeah, Bluish say Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga? Okay, I need to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I know that's a sin.
That man Thorfinn.
I need to watch it.
No joke.
So switching gears a little bit, but still kind of on the same wave of just like talking about characters. Because I mean, anime and manga, they have tons and tons of characters from all sorts of slices. So some shows have been around where you can see a good progression of a character arc. Some they are longer, or you've seen them regress, and some stuff is in between. Sometimes, like I think about like a Cowboy Bebop, right, or even like Samurai Champloo. You have this base set of characters who are dope, right? Like they just come in kind of cool, mysterious. You're intrigued about their story, and you want to see what happens. And they do get more depth as far as like who they are. You get to see like all these different aspects of them. But at the end of the day, like they're kind of solidified as to who they are in the first place. Like you as the viewer are kind of finding out more and more about them throughout the show. It's not that they necessarily may change by the end for anything. That you literally are just living up to their same principles. Whereas you have other stuff like, to your point earlier, Bluish, where you have like a Vegeta who transforms, he becomes a different character. So who are some of y'all best examples of that, if you can think of any, or worst examples? Like, I mean, some may say Gohan is the worst example. I have to take that on the chest, but yeah, do y'all have any good examples that you can speak to as far as that?
I got a couple, especially since we're manga fans here. Because I've been not reading, but I've been watching a lot of synopsis for it. But the character progression that they have for Guts and Berserk is ridiculous. Like he's a very well made character. It's unfortunate that we can't get like a good anime for that, but or a good release schedule for manga alone on Berserk. But like Guts is a great character. Another one for me that hits. He also falls, by the way, into both a great character progression and really bad one. Is Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. I think he goes through a really great. If you've watched it, he goes through a really great progression from being a human that is now turned into a ghoul and has to deal with being half human, half ghoul. Like being in a world where ghouls are just like hated. And they're to be feared, they're to be hated, but now he's half of them, and he's both of them. And he goes through all this trauma, and he goes through these crazy changes throughout like season 1 and season 2. And you see how him as a person, he becomes a good guy, a bad guy. But then season 3 just is awful. I don't want to talk about that one too much because this is just bad. Like season 3 was trash. But he goes through a really great change as far as progression, and they make it understandable when you look at the events that are going on around him. And then of course you gotta bring up the homie from Attack on Titan, man.
Yeah. As I was just thinking about, Aaron.
Let me see.
There's too many to think of. Like Attack on Titan was good. I tried not to think of just the most recent ones, but like, most of the most recent ones kind of like and fit the bill some way. Attack on Titan definitely was one.
I think for me, one of the decent character progression is in the manga, but it has been somewhat captured in some of the films. Is Briario's from I feel failure now. I can't even think of the name.
I'm trying to help you out.
Dagon Briario's from why can't I think of the name of this anime right now? Freaking A. This is horrible.
Appleseed.
Appleseed, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Failure. Briario's from Appleseed. His character progression is actually really unique in the way that they write it, because while he is somewhat of a main character, Doonan is also a main character as well. They're kind of a main character together. And the way they play off of one another and their character progression, they have a past that you know about. They're not OP super fire, but they are competent in the characters that they are. And the way they progress with regards to the environment around them, like some of the movies kind of portray them in like when they're in Utopia, but I like the ones where they progress them where they're actually out in the city, in the world, where it's all been run down and they're just kind of stealing for scraps to just try to make it from day to day. Like, it's actually really nice to see how that kind of balances.
Oh, it don't close.
So I think they're really good. That's a really good example of a character progression. Like, it doesn't feel like they get shorted in any kind of way for any kind of reason.
Trying to think of
I thought of Sal, just because of the season that everyone has watched for Sword Art.
I was gonna ask about that. How many people have actually changed in that? If we're talking about good character writing and progression, how many people have really changed in SAO?
For the worst, old girl. Asuna.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things. Like, all right, that's the cliche lovey stuff. But she, even though this whole last season was really her, and she's like the savior, for a good chunk of it, she still had like 2, 3, 4 like arcs to shows where she's not even doing nothing at all. And so it's like you went from being the number one feared in the whole world, fighting for your life, to you just out there crying in the real world. Like,
I would say as far as a good example, I don't know how many of y'all followed Gantz, but Corano from Gantz starts off like just as, you know, a teenager, like a emo teenager at that. He didn't want to talk to nobody and anything like that. And then as soon as he got put into the games, he started to understand, okay, if we don't stick together, this isn't going to work. And I feel like even in the anime, I mean, of course, the manga for Gantz, if y'all don't know, went tremendously past where the anime ended at. And I think at the end of the day, like, his storyline still finished off kind of cool. It was crazy because the manga itself got really, really weird. But as far as the anime, it still is a good representation of like how his growth happened. You know, he went through mad stuff and he actually learned from it, because the whole show is about learning how to adapt with each tour. Basically, when you have to come back to the room and fight more aliens, you got to do different stuff. And if you're not helping the people that are with you, it's just going to be you. And that's going to make it more tougher for you. So, yeah, I think they spent a lot of time to kind of like build and frame his character in a way that wasn't just like, you always going to be the best, because he suffered a lot to get to where he was going to go. And it didn't feel like it was ever like a cop-out or an excuse to kind of like just level him up all of a sudden. Most times, like, he went through the trauma. Like in the manga, he dies, and they wound up bringing him back. But like for a huge set of chapters, like, Mans is gone, and you're like, oh man, like this is not his show anymore. And he eventually does come back, and still again takes kind of the lead charge, and still has his same emotional outburst that he used to have even from the beginning. So it's not unusual for him to be like out of character. He's usually always in character. So yeah. As far as like really bad examples, I can always think of Ichigo from Bleach. Like, to me, we talk about how a writer can just kind of write anything to kind of make the character successful. That is Bleach, like, to the epitome of everything related to Ichigo. Like, yes, he's a teenager. Yes, he finds out he has powers. Yes, he starts to use those powers. What else is there? Oh, let's write this whole story around him using these powers now and then unlocking more power that he already had inside of him. it's crazy. Like they do that like 5 or 6 times, like with all these different buffs that he gets throughout the series. I'm like, bro, you haven't earned any of this. Like you literally just you get beat up and you come back stronger some mysterious mystical way, and that's that. Like it is lame. At least like in Naruto, they at least frame it that you have the 9 tails, and the only reason why you're 5 for like the whole first portion of the show is because you have the 9 tails. Otherwise, you would have been dead multiple times. Like that's how I view Naruto, which is why to me he's not the best character in that show immediately, because he's not the strongest person who really has like put in the work to earn it. So his character doesn't really change. He's just like a whiny little brat for a very long time. So yeah, I think Naruto is probably falls in the middle. Like he himself did eventually have a come up. They tried to force Sasuke through some weird stuff, kind of like a Vegeta-esque path.
I'm gonna say Sasuke one of the worst for me.
Yeah.
Because I got it at first. That's your clan. I get it from a teenage standpoint. But it one of those things again as the plot escalated that it was way deeper than your clan. I mean, you're literally fighting, this is, basically in the world of Naruto, this has been a battle in the making since the beginning.
Since the beginning of the world, basically.
So like, no one cared that he was still mad about stuff when stuff was. I mean, the plot escalated way past that. So I think that's a bad one.
Like, there's no reason they should have fought at the end of the show. Yeah. Like at the end of Shippuden, there's no reason for them to fight after they beat Kaguya.
Like, y'all just fight Kaguya. I just didn't understand. Like the mother of Shinobi, y'all.
Why is she here?
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. What? So anyway, but I think it's those, I think in character, it's those little nods of, like Vegeta, like knowing, like it didn't say it outright, but like you just saw little nods here and there that he's changing to the point that you saw the point where him seeing Trunks die at the hands of Cell, or you see him as a family man, you see him finally sacrificing himself, or even when he first cried after we just thought he was this bad guy. So I think it's those type of characters, just those little nods. I think
it wasn't easy for Vegeta, and that's what I think I like about him the most. Like they showed the torment that he went through to become a good person. Like again, all the way to the point where he went Majin. It's like, fam, like you willing to sacrifice your whole family, your kid? Like that's what you want to do this for? Like you gonna be a murderer again in front of your son? Like you ain't have to do that, bro. But like, I mean, that was his conflict. That's what he went through. Like even when he got punked out by 18 and she broke his arm, like when the androids first met up with them and just whooped off on everybody. I forget if he was crying then, but he definitely was like not happy.
He
wasn't happy when his arm got broken, bro. Like he was mad defeated, and it was like, look, man. Because he came back thinking I'm a Super Saiyan now. Yeah. I'm supposed to be better than Goku, and he was getting the hands put on him after that. So
so
you see all these moments of torture that he goes through to be the person who he is now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think just one right out for me that I'm gonna mention quick, that I used to watch that I just remembered was a character named Rock from the Black Lagoon. That I liked his character progression because he was just a regular guy, but I liked the way they portrayed like the world of mafia and piracy, and saw that even though he was green, it was real life. It's like outside of his comfort zone, he saw like the world's not that great. Like, in order for the world to turn, really, bad stuff happens. Stuff that happens. So just to see him, even though he was kind of pacifist, but I like the way they wrote it, even in the manga too, where you could see that as he got a taste of how the world really ran, how it kind of changed him. And even I like the way that they even wrote it from the standpoint that his crew, who smuggled him, noticed like, man, hey man, you changed. This stuff. We know we told you we're mean out here, but we didn't think we were gonna change like that. So I like that character progression too.
It made me think of Kame ga Kill. Wait, not Kill. Yeah, Kame ga Kill, where the main character He grew into it, but you really was watching it or keeping off it because everyone else around him.
Yeah.
Everyone else was too nice.
Yeah.
And so like, even though, but it's cool that he still did progress and he still did contribute. It's cool, but it's like I did like that aspect where the main character wasn't OP, and the heart ride was the people you met after you met the main character. Like that was even a bigger story. Like that's kind of a dope premise.
What about you, Sanka? You got any bad examples or anything else you want to get off your chest with them?
Nah, not that I can think of at the moment. Not that I can think of at the moment.
I mean, I can give a quick shout to the homie Rock Lee too. Even though I brought him up earlier, Rock Lee had he was on a great uprising of of great progression. They was giving him like the fact that he couldn't use jutsu, like he was only a taijutsu user. They already gave him conflict, and they gave him a reason for him to want to work so hard. Like even when they were giving Lee's backstory, I was like, this is deep, and to see how far he's come is great. And then they just ruined it by sidelining this man for so long. Like he was just gone for so long, and then even after that, he's still not. He ain't the same, man. This ain't the Chunin exam Rock Lee no more. So like it's crazy how they did well in the beginning with Rock Lee's character, and then screwed it up later. So I don't know. It's tough to me. I feel like
to like a Neji, where like I feel like they did a really good job. Like Neji turned around really, really quickly. Like not quickly, but he turned on in a real good way.
Exactly.
But we still had Guy too, though.
And I think Guy's a better character than Rock Lee. Is that crazy?
I'm leaning towards that.
No, it's not crazy. That's definitely not crazy.
I mean that the way they make their whole, sensei to pupil type of relationship work is kind of because like Guy has been through everything that Lee has already been through, so it just feels more genuine coming from him, whereas he's kind of trying to protect Lee from it. And like Lee gets bullied, of course, in the beginning and everything like that, but he's not really pushed around like how Guy was in the past. And then like you see Guy do the things that he tells Lee not to, as far as like, don't open up all the gates, bro. It might kill you. Like, like for him, it's like it means more. It feels like almost. So that's interesting because usually they always let the stars or the younger stars of the show kind of get the highlight. But I've always felt kind of like Lee was a little bit on the short end of the stick when it came to Guy.
For sure. Because Guy was with Kakashi. Think about that.
Right.
He was with who?
Right. His team in the grand scheme of things didn't really matter as much. So. Yeah,
I had one.
It's funny. Go ahead.
Came to mind real quick was Setsuna from Gundam 00, where his character started out really good in season 1, but in season 2 is just for some strange reason they just drop him like he's just this weird character that just he's all powerful or something like that, but you don't know for what reason, like he's supposed to be special or something, and then you don't never really see him do anything, and then at the very end is when he finally, okay, I'm just gonna wild out, and then they end the series, and then of course we all know about the movie, how trash that is, but his character, that's an example of where it started out as good progression. Like all the characters in season 1 like had great progression as far as why they were doing what they were doing and what they were doing it for and everything like that. Each one of them had their reasons, and it felt nice and solid by the end of season 1. But then season 2 came along, and it's just like they just dropped the progression all together, and it was just like they were just there just to be there, and there was no real reason.
So I kind of want to highlight. I know Arda kind of mentioned, the focus typically always falls on the more recent stuff, and I hate to kind of play it right now, but it's just interesting because like this one, like My Hero is kind of like up there outside of like One Piece, right? But I do think it's interesting to kind of observe the characters in that show, because it's one of the few animes that I think has some really well done writing after the fact. It don't hit me right then and there, especially when it's happening. And I still will fall on the sword that says that the first 3 seasons of My Hero, from an anime perspective, weren't it for me. Like it was all a lot of tropes, and just kind of it all fit into that same regular bubble. But I think as they've gotten past those typical shonen arcs of like doing a tournament, showing everyone fighting the first major villain, like, you know, all that type of stuff, it is starting to lean towards having some really, really good characters, if not some really contrived ways to bring them up. Like, some are just kind of thrown in the mix, like a Dabi and his backstory with his family all of a sudden, or like, you know, it's just like, okay.
That's not bad. Stop hating on that.
I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was bad. It just kind of came out of nowhere. But I do think like it kind of came out of nowhere, bro. But like Midoriya, on the other hand, I mean, he is the kind of like the counter argument to a lot of this stuff. Like he starts off with no power at all, just really wants to be strong, and they give it to him with a lot of caveats. Like, yeah, you got this power, but you can't really use it like you think you should. And now it's kind of like working into the story of like, okay, you're finally getting there. Like now in the manga, like Mans is kind of like doing his own thing. It still is some limiters on him, but I don't know. It's weird because like he still is the same tropey kid who is like just I'm a hero. Everything has to be saved. But there's some more depth to him, I would say, and especially around some of the other characters that they do work out. Like his way of writing these emotional backstories, like for Shigaraki, is like crazy. Like, oh, okay, man, I understand why he's supposed to be so bad, bro. Like he's a really, really well written character. Like as far as like the foundation that they gave him. So I think that's one of the best modern interpretations of something that's kind of playing a fine line with that delicate balance. It is one of the things you can just snipe and be like, nah, this bad. But I think it does a few things well at this point.
To me, what's been crazy with My Hero is like, even though the main one is Midoriya, and we already know from like first episode where his story ends up going. To me, Midoriya is one of those people like Naruto, who's almost like the least interesting person in the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's the cast around him and the people that he surrounds himself with that I'm more interested in. Like Midoriya is cool. I want to see him level up. I want to see him get more powerful. I want to see him do all the cool stuff All Might can do. But I care about like Bakugo. I care about Endeavor when he was going through his stuff. Yeah. Like those characters, exactly. Ida. Like I care about those characters. And one day, I mean this sincerely, one day, they better give my boy Mineta his ultimate hero moment. He better get everything he deserved, my G. I mean that with all seriousness. Mineta is that dude, man. Y'all gonna stop disrespecting my dude with the sticky balls on his head, man. Y'all ain't gonna do it, man.
Let me put the mic close to this. So let me make the mic close. So they will never give this man any type of shine ever. Like, okay, he'll get a harem episode. That's it.
I got one better. I got one better for you. The only type of shine this man gonna get is when he accidentally falls and trips into the women's bathroom. That's about it. That's all that man gonna get.
And he's had a bathtub episode.
Yeah, like, he has. He's trying to get up. That man about to sit down, side on to the side. But to y'all's point, which I was talking about with My Hero, even with the direction of the manga, that's one thing I hope that they don't lose sight of. Is although Midoriya is kind of the main character, what makes the show so great is the side characters and how much depth there is into their characters. So I hope that they continue to keep that sight and they don't lose sight of that and just like hyper focus back on Midoriya. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And of course, respect to Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan did its thing. Lots of good characters, lots of emotional heartstrings where, you know, bonds you could develop with them characters. And when they die for real. Ugh, it hurt. It hurt. I'm sure we're forgetting some. Like I hear Code Geass is really good, but
that's what I've heard too.
I've never gone back and watched it, but I've heard like that's a really good show as far as like from a character standpoint. And I mean, it's anime as many as you can think of. There's probably good examples and bad examples. But anyway.
And I've heard good stuff about Monster too.
Yeah. Monster, I think, is a whole nother beast. Like that's not typical shonen. That's like a mystery or a thriller or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's a thriller. It's a crime thriller. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few of those that I've kind of watched before. Like outside of like the goofiness of like Case Closed, which I love. But like you have stuff like Master Keaton, like that's more of a grounded type of show. But yeah, I've heard great things about Monster as well. I've always wanted to go back and venture into that type of stuff. So, all right, fellas. Well, no need to extend this any further. We got our passions out as far as where everybody stands on Gohan. All y'all will see the light one day. That's all I'm gonna say. One day. It might not be in Super. It might be in Dragon Ball Ultra. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe Dragon Ball AF.
Don't stop. That's a crazy callback.
Man. Well, this was a fun one. Anybody got any new stuff that they're watching? Anything that's on their minds, that they're reading, that they're watching, that they want to tell to the peoples?
I have to do the Promised Neverland manga. I know it's back. I need to read it because everyone said do not touch the anime.
Brother.
It diverts.
Brother.
Like I don't want to bring up any like open no wounds. I want to dig up no graves or none. I just want to say I'm looking forward to the manga because I love the first season already.
Man, bump all that. Whoever thought that season 2 of Promised Neverland was a good idea, whoever thought this was a great diversion that we did, we're gonna just go way off script, we just gonna change things up and do it this way, whoever thought that, get that man out of there. He don't deserve to work. I have watched this thing.
Sad. It's so sad.
Exactly. I watched it from the first one to the last one, dog. And as a person who does actually, interestingly enough, I know the manga story and I know how top tier, how good this is. That show is so bad. It is so bad.
like One Punch Man season 2 bad or worse?
Worse.
Has to be worse. Yeah,
so much worse. And it's only, what's crazy is if you don't know how good the manga is, you'll think this is decent. You'll think this is good writing, somewhat good writing. Like you'll think it's okay. But as a manga reader, when I know the story, I know how things are supposed to go. You know how things are stretched out. This second season is awful. It is bad. It's garbage. Coming off a great first season to this trash. Get it out my face, man.
Cliffhanger and all. That's what. So like, it's sad. It's like, let me just jump straight into manga. Let me just forget it exists. Is that? What was the other show? Oh, I'm mad in the Discord. No one's mentioned the My Hero anime. Like I forgot that joins back out.
I haven't been watching. You know me. I wait till the season comes out.
That's what I'm trying to bring up. No one's
I've been reading, so I haven't been paying attention.
So, we watched Attack on. Well, at least I watched the anime for Attack on Titan, for One Punch, yada whatever. I keep all of them, but like we bought. I think they're like 6 episodes in for My Hero.
I'm sure it's pretty dope. I'm sure it's pretty dope. I'm gonna wait on it though. I'm gonna wait till they finish.
And that wouldn't be a bad idea. But I have to peep it. I just felt bad.
I'm still reading this Kaiju number 8. It's pretty interesting. It's still got the intrigue level with it. Nothing really to write home about yet though, right now. But as a side note, I noticed the anime. But I know we talking about anime, but Mortal Kombat sucked.
I've heard it was hot cheeks.
Oh,
big cheek affair.
That's an understatement.
Bro, I'd rather watch the OG one than watch this mess. That's how much
They said all the good parts was in the trailer. Like they said the good fights were in the trailer. And that was it.
Yes. All you got to do is watch the trailer. You see the movie.
Yes,
that's crazy.
I'd rather.
I heard that they don't even have the tournament.
No.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh no, I'm not watching that.
It's just prequel.
You know what's crazy is like they were like, we're supposed to have 10 tournaments of Mortal Kombat, and then Outworld can come and conquer Earth. They can do whatever they can do whatever they want after the 10 tournaments. They said no, we had 9 tournaments, but no, we're gonna come to Earth and we're gonna try and kill all of your fighters and defenders because we can do whatever we want, and no one can stop me. Like Shang Tsung said this. He said, I can come here to Earth and I can do whatever I want. Nobody will stop me. How does that make sense, man?
What is lore? What really, what is lore?
It's straight trash. It is garbage. I want to watch it. I feel like I need to cleanse myself. Like I'd rather watch the old one. That's how good.
We gotta have a discussion on that.
Oh yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. What lore?
What's lore, man?
And we're seeing that a lot of these movies are boo-boo, and these all should be the easiest movies ever. I mean, the lore.
There's so much lore.
You can literally copy and paste. Just literally take what's written or what's drawn and convert it to a movie.
Yep.
And the writers refuse to follow lore. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, there's no reason this should be difficult.
It's not that hard to make a video game, movie, or anything of that when you have the source material.
It's just like, how in the world? Like, okay, I know we don't talk about.
It's there.
We're not supposed to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution, but how in the world did that movie get greenlit, bro? Like, who came up with that and said, "Yeah, we're gonna cast a white dude as Goku"?
But you have to understand that. But you got to remember though, Hollywood don't care about that, man. They care about what's going the money. So if
you would get more money if you follow the story, bro.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, if you pitch a good story to some fool with some money, he gonna spend the money on it. And that's all he cares about.
It's big sad.
Because most of these producers, they don't know anything about the source material. We know about the source material, but none of these producers know about the source material.
It's there because they say that. But at the same time, you look at a movie, all these movies, like they've had the Oscars. I didn't even watch it, but the movie that won Best Picture is based off of a book. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you can't tell me you don't know the source material, but yet the movie that are winning awards are the exact same movie that are written from a novel.
Yep.
You know? Yep. Shawshank Redemption is a Stephen King book. I mean, it's producers, if they wanted to, they can copy a book or something and make a movie from that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell me no source material they don't know, and it's like, well, there's plenty of non-fiction books or fiction books that people are making bank off of.
Hence why the saying.
Pick up a comic book. I'm sorry.
Hence why the saying always goes, "The book was always better." Exactly. And it almost always is, because these folk, they don't know how to respect the source material. I'll even take an iconic movie for a lot of us, Jurassic Park. The book was better.
I never understood that while I was a kid until I read it. You're right. Like that and Lost World.
Better. How are you not able to translate it? You literally have it verbatim. Every sort of events. Now, of course, we do understand the runtime. You can't fit all the events that are in the book in the film. I understand that. But as someone who clearly understands the source material, you should be able to weave the story without cutting out some of the riffraff, and it match almost verbatim to where I could look at any scene and I recognize it from the book.
Yeah. But all that to say, I did think Jurassic Park was a good movie. Like, it's decent. I can understand if you really love the book, though, how it would be trash. This is completely off of anime, but at the same time, I'm really kind of I want to be hopeful for the Uncharted movie, because I love Uncharted. Like, I want to be hopeful for it, but I don't think it's gonna be there, bro. Like,
bruh, Tomb Raider. Just think about Tomb Raider, and then you can be like, how Uncharted probably gonna go.
Yeah,
Tomb Raider is not good, man.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The modern Tomb Raider, the one that's based off of the new rebooted game that they literally verbatim, all they had to do was take the game, make it live action, and my dude, you would have had
give you the cutscenes, like
legit. All you had to do is transfer some of the cutscenes to live action. You would have been straight. No, they had to go way over here somewhere and just ruined it. You legit had all of that. And you couldn't do it. That's gonna tell you how the Uncharted's gonna go.
That's why I say there's zero excuses for some of these people. When you have NetherRealm, who is making excellent top tier video game stories, Like the MK story.
Fighting game, video games,
Fighting
not
games.
just like single player fighting game, video games,
Fighting
not
games.
just like single player fighting.
Those are
they
not,
are the best
those
fighting
are not
game
supposed
stories
to
ever.
have good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to, but they do, and they're excellent.
Injustice was so good. It spawned its own comic. That's how good it was. Like, you can't tell me, like, the game, so you say what you will about the gameplay, but the game story itself was so fire. It spawned its own comic. You know somebody knows how to write, but it ain't these people writing these movies, that's for sure. These movies and TV shows, they I don't know. Someone.
This statement applies to you too, DC. Ain't no reason your animated movies are S-tier quality, excellent movies, but your live action stuff is garbage. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. How do you go from being top tier with your animators, which you could just translate over word for word, to being bottom tier garbage with your live action stuff? That's not a thing.
That Batman Red Hood.
Oh my God.
One of the masterpieces of Batman visual animation, and they'll never be able to put it anywhere else.
We gotta get back on track.
Yeah, we gotta get back on track. Hold on, we all right.
We was wrapping this up.
Let's wrap it up.
I have been reading a manga called Delicious in Dungeon, also known as Dungeon Meshi.
That's by Monique.
By Monique. That's wild. She gonna come on here. It's literally like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing where like you have this party that goes into a cave, or adventurers basically. They're going inside a dungeon and they find out, okay, instead of buying a whole bunch of food and preparing it on the front end, we're just gonna kill these monsters and eat it. But it has a story around it. It's actually kind of cool. Like it builds some lore around it. It's meant to be kind of goofy. I haven't seen anything mega serious from it. It's a light read, nice little snack before I go to bed. So I've been into that. Silk, you been reading anything? You been catching up with anything?
No, not lately. No, just trying to read up and trying to find something recommended. But other than that, I might check out Vinland. So I actually saw it. I started to watch the first episode, but.
Get past the first episode.
I
gotta tell you before, like my homies were telling me, the same homies for months were telling me to watch it, and I fell asleep on the first episode like 2 times, like 5 minutes in. Bam, that stuff changes, gets heavy so quick and nice. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna get into it too.
Same.
Also, Bluish. Before we end this, I just want to say, your man's Vegeta gonna have his come up.
Good.
I don't know if you read. I don't know if you read the manga, but
we know he's going to be the god of destruction. Just go ahead and sit that on down.
I mean, we can think about how his outfit gonna look. He might look a little fuego. You know what I'm saying? He gonna look a little fuego.
I'm gonna catch up there too. We're gonna catch up. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
I did say I wouldn't come back to Super until they brought my boy Broly into the main thing. So. Yeah, I'll come back if they give Vegeta some ups, but I made a promise I wasn't gonna come back until they brought Broly.
We'll see. All right, y'all. Well, this has been a very nice episode. Glad we knocked this out. I think this is 2 in a month. I don't know. We might be on a roll. If
under
not,
2 hours.
That's a month. Exactly. Like we making good time.
Yep.
When we gonna have this video game podcast? All right. Anyway, we out. It was nice, boys. Everybody have a good night. We'll see y'all at some point in time soon. Until then, peace.
Later.
Deuce.